So, I've been engaged to my fiancé for a year and we're planning to be married in December in Colombia, and of course, I'm beyond pumped. It's going to be a destination wedding for us, and I was very happy that I was able to talk him into having one. My soon-to-be mother-in-law is extremely upset about this. I always knew that she wasn't really my biggest fan. She's polite and very fake-friendly, but she'll do things like sit on my fiancé's lap, tuck his hair behind his ear, and cut his food for him. On one occasion, I actually saw her feed him in public. However, to my fiancé's credit, once I told him that I thought that was beyond weird, it never happened again. Future mother-in-law is very upset about our destination wedding. She thinks we'll all be somehow unalive there, constantly complains about the cost of her airfare, the size of the wedding, the thought of my fiancé getting sick, etc. You get the picture. I try to limit her exposure to my wedding planning. Though when I do this, she complains to my fiancé behind my back about how she's being excluded. She came over yesterday, theoretically to see our new house, but instead offered the following criticisms. She hates my engagement ring because it's far too extravagant, and there are children starving in Africa, and that I'm getting fat, so I need to watch the calories or I won't fit into my dress. Meanwhile, she's bragging about her diet and how chic and slenderizing her mother of the bride dress is. This delightful conversation was interrupted by my fiancé asking me to help him put a bed in the spare guest room together, so I left her to her own devices and Netflix while I helped. About 40 minutes into assembly, I went to take a bathroom break and headed into the master bedroom, and what do I find but my future mother-in-law struggling to yank my dress over her head but was freaking stuck. I blurted out, "What the hell?" and she immediately started stammering, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh god." At that point, my number one concern was her tearing the sheer backing of my dress, so I rushed over to help her. It was all for naught as she managed to scratch her way through the back of the dress and completely destroy the sheer material. She burst the side zipper of the dress and got a dirty footprint on the train. I asked her, as soon as I got her out of the dress, what the hell she thought she was doing. She responded that she was just trying to make sure the dress would fit me, because if the dress fit her, then it absolutely fit me too. If it didn't fit her, then I obviously had some work to do. Never mind that I just had my final fitting, and it had fit like a glove. My fiancé is very disturbed by what happened, as am I, mostly because I doubt she was trying to just try on the dress for funsies. There was also a bouquet of dried flowers on the bed that wasn't there before. I think the woman was actually trying to pretend she was the bride, which for so many reasons, is so wrong. She hasn't offered to pay for any of the repairs to the dress, and I have no idea how much it's going to cost until I can get to the seamstress tomorrow. In the meantime, in lieu of an apology, she's lecturing me on spending so much money on a wedding dress, and clearly, the trouble she had getting into the dress was a sign to get something less dramatic and ostentatious. It's taking everything in me to tell her to not pound sand. Update 1. First things first, the wedding is off. We are still together and remain engaged, but things are very, very strained between us. The only thing that has really stopped me from leaving this relationship is that I love him from the bottom of my heart, and I can see how much this is hurting him. I really want to work past this if we can, and we're both committing to seeing a couples therapist. After his mom ruined my dress, my fiancé confronted her by telephone and demanded that she help cover the damages to the dress. She refused because she said it was an accident, and that she really was just trying to help. She literally tried to spin this as her helping me by, and I quote, giving me a standard to aspire to, and she also admitted that she just wanted to feel as young and beautiful as me. The worst part is that he believed her BS. At this point, after she refused to pay, I started pitching a fit until my fiancé said that we shouldn't jump to conclusions on the damages until we visited the seamstress. So we went together, and the assessment was that it was completely trashed and beyond repair. Hearing how badly my dress was mutilated crushed me, but the worst part was my fiancé's reaction at the seamstress. He kept minimizing the damage, pointing out how certain things absolutely could have been an accident, and he also lied to the seamstress and told her that the dress had an accident, when in reality, it was his mother attempting to relive her model days. I corrected the course and said no, his mother had tried to put it on without my permission, knowing damn well that she didn't fit into it, and deliberately destroyed parts of it in the process. The real fun started when we got home, where I told him that if she didn't pay, then I wanted to sue her for damages to the dress. He told me some BS about how the cost of the dress didn't meet the thresholds for a lawsuit. I took straight to the internet and Googled the thresholds for small claims court in Virginia before printing all of the responses I got and forcing him to read them. He conceded that she owed us something and called her, with me sitting there. As I sat there, I kid you not, he argued with her for all of 5 minutes before she broke down sobbing, accused him of not loving her, called me trash for turning him against her, and how could money be more important than her love for him. He actually soothed her and told her that he understood, but that I'm being super emotional over the dress, and this would help me calm down. She started babbling and sobbing, and he said that he'd talk to me. After they hung up, he had the nerve to turn to me and say that all he wanted was peace and to please just let him pay for the dress and let this go away. I lost it and started screaming at him. I cried harder than I probably ever have cried because I honestly feel that he took her side over mine. I told him that it wasn't about the dress and that if he genuinely believed that this was over an overpriced dress at this point, then we needed to cancel the wedding and he and his mom could have a nice vacation to Colombia without me. We argued, and like he's been doing, told me that he saw my point. I told him that I didn't want her at the wedding, and shockingly, he agreed. I sat next to him the next day when he called her and told her that because of what happened, we couldn't have her at the wedding. I actually felt proud when he hung up on her after she screamed and sobbed about how he can't do this to his own mother. I began to consider that maybe I was wrong about how he refused to stand up for me. That is, until I was on our shared iPad. I rarely use the iPad because I'm way happier with my Kindle, but I'll reach for the iPad in the rare event that my Kindle is out of juice and my phone is out of reach. While I was using it, what pops up but messages from his mom, asking about the best way to purchase discounted flights to Colombia. I scrolled through the messages, and he had folded the very next day, saying that he had disinvited her for my sake, but he still wanted her at the wedding. That he'd slowly work on changing my mind, and hopefully on the weekend of the wedding I'd be feeling forgiving and welcome her, and if not, I could deal with it. I lost my mind and I actually started packing my bags, but he was the one that ended up leaving to stay with his friend while I stayed in the house. The fight wasn't pretty, and that's about where we're at right now. I feel played right now, and that's exactly what he was trying to do, play both sides. We both agreed that the best thing to do for us is to postpone the wedding until trust is re-established, deposits be damned. And if anyone asks what happened, I'll tell them the entire story. Future mother-in-law, for the most part, is fuming and trying to spin this into me being a trashy, greedy harpy that's determined to bring her and her precious baby nothing but misery. She's tried to come to our house several times to get my fiancé, but I haven't answered the door. Fiancé, to his credit, has blocked her on his phone and hasn't told her where he's living right now. He's gone no contact and has agreed to no contact until we begin therapy. He's turned over all of his passwords and the iPad so I can check his messages when I want to, and trust me, I'm checking. I love him, and I want to be able to go the distance with him, but while his mom is in the picture, I just don't think I can. For God's sake, I'm looking through his email accounts and messages for contact from his mother. I can't even begin to explain just how messed up that is. Update 2. There are several new things to report. One being that my fiancé has kept his end of the bargain. He's had no contact with his mother, and I know for sure because I'm religiously checking his accounts, and she's also losing her mind. This week, I have had my Ring app go off 4 times, all at odd hours of the night, and it's her. I have footage of her shoving notes under my door. The notes all say something along the lines of demanding to be able to speak with my fiancé and how I am driving a wedge between them. There are countless text messages asking me why I'm forbidding contact between my fiancé and his mother, and how unnatural it is to stop a son from seeing his mother, and that I'm going to burn in hell, and am a disgrace to womanhood. She even came to my work, and when I refused to see her, security escorted her out. When I pulled out of the parking garage, I saw her waiting by the employee entrance. Fiancé and I typically go shopping on Wednesday nights, and she knows this because she's gone with us a couple of times. Guess who was waiting for us in the parking lot at 7 p.m.? Thankfully, we didn't get out of the car after we saw her pacing around the entrance. I'm documenting everything just in case she continues to get crazier. Fiancé and I will be going to the local PD tomorrow to file a report and look into getting a temporary restraining order. Thank you to everyone that's offered me kind words, support, and even offers of baked goods. You guys are wonderful, and I really appreciate you.